Hello guys, Braxcast time once again. This is the 118th episode of the Braxcast, and we are going to go right into the latest news of the Rippaverse. Is the continuation of the Exclave event. So you've got Darren Fontaino getting his first book that is going to be exclusive to his story. And he's been a character that has featured pretty prominently in the Item series, of course, the ill-advised arc. He was one of the first Dokumon cards, and he's basically one of the first antagonists in the series. And I definitely have a bit of a soft spot for Darren Fontaino on that basis. And he's also a very interesting character. He's got like one of the basically first monologues of the Rippaverse talking about power and how empires are always being built. So I've always viewed him as a very interesting character, and it's really, really exciting to see him get his own book. And this is sticking really basically to this very agreed upon pre-order format with 4 covers, 56 pages, and you do have the CGC signatures, but it does have the free exclusive covers and then the mass print D cover. And those exclusive covers will be available until the 2nd of October, 2026. That's when the cutoff happens. And then the book will be releasing on the 22nd of December, 2026. And like I said, this is a 56-pager, like basically all of the pre-order books have been. This is being written by Caro Brown. She's a very prolific writer in the Rippaverse. You got Lucas Assissis, if I'm saying that correctly, is the artist for this book, and Pedro Estuco, if I'm saying that correctly, is the colorist for this book. And this is basically going over what Fontaino is doing during the Exclave event. It's also exploring the inner workings of his basically crime operation. Of course, he's got Club Merc. You read his Dokumon card. He's got the influence of local politicians. So he's trying to be the head honcho, the head kingpin, or the kingpin of Forest Park. And you've got this prosecutor, Marcus Hale, that's going to go up against him. And of course, this is all going to happen while the Devlings are basically coming in and invading everything. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that all ties in together. So I really do like the Exclave crossover because we are getting some pretty interesting books out of this. So we're getting characters that are getting books that don't have their own series. So of course, you've got characters, you've got the Alpha Corps, you got Horsemen. They are getting a crossover book, which is really cool. But you've got, like I said, Santuan and Darren Fontaino now. These are characters that have never had their own books. They've basically been characters in other books, Fontaino being a bit more prominent of a character, Santuan being a bit more of a, maybe you could say side character, but I think they're pretty prominent, both of them, Santuan and Fontaino, pretty prominent in the Item series, the ill-advised arc, and to see them get their own books so we can explore them as characters in the context of the Exclave event is going to be really cool. So we're going to see this story basically unfold from a lot of different perspectives, and that's going to be the most interesting thing of the Exclave event. Of course, we're getting Saoirse as well, even though, she does have her own series, but to see how an LF takes on the Exclave event is really cool. Hopefully we get one for John Salvage as well, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but that would be pretty cool to see John Salvage, or maybe even the third person who has the LF certification. That's still a bit of a mystery to us as far as I know. Somebody could have figured it out, or it could have been very much mentioned, or very subtly mentioned, but as far as I know, the third person who has the LF certification is a mystery. But I am going to go into the covers before I ramble on about what I'm theorizing in the Rippaverse. So cover A is by Igor Vitorino, with Felipe Felix as the colorist. Cover B is Gianluca Gugliotta with Nessa Redulia as the colorist. Lucas Assissis is the interior artist, is the artist for cover C, and Tato Calbarello is the artist or the colorist for cover C. This is my favorite cover. Really amplifies the character of Fontaino with his honeys there, and also just like it's a very like powerful shot. So not only does he have like this allure of like being a womanizer, you also got this like kingpin vibe. And then you've got cover D with Laura Kings as the artist for that. And these are all really good covers. I don't think there's any retro covers. Retro covers have been pretty sorely missing from these pre-orders. I do hope they get back to those because we've seen maybe one in these few of pre-orders. Of course, like we've had some really good ones, especially I think it's cover B for Zalen What Kills Must Die. Probably one of the best covers of the Rippaverse. I'm going to be honest. Is that Frank Fosco cover from Zalen, and it's a retro cover. So I just really want more stuff, more retro covers from the Rippaverse. But the covers we are getting are quite good. And I do like the fact that they're all revealed at once. I was asked a while ago if I like them like hiding covers and then not revealing them until later. And that's, fine when the book's being released as like a big event. But now it really isn't. So it's like by the time a couple weeks pass by and this cover is revealed, there's like 3 or 4 more books have gone up for pre-order, and it's like not really that exciting. So to just show all 4 covers like when the book is up for pre-order, I think is the best thing to do with how packed the release schedule is. So it just makes it easier to cover these sorts of things, because with how much stuff is going on, it's really not possible for me to keep track of that and be like, oh, hey, this, cover for Fontaino Exclave had one, let's say, and 3 weeks later, and there's like 3 more books, and I'm covering those. There's so much stuff going on in the Rippaverse that it's just like, it doesn't make sense to do that. It's not something they need to be doing to build up hype, because they're just constantly releasing stuff and doing so many cool things. So there's so many cool things in the pipeline. Like there's animations we're waiting for. There's of course Rippaverse Backyard. There's the fact that the Hachette book deal is going to be in less than a month kicking off. So there's a lot of really, really cool stuff with the Rippaverse, and that hype is being built up naturally. You don't need to like hide covers and then reveal them at a later date in order to do that. At this point feels a bit unnecessary to do that, but it's certainly not the worst thing in the world. And it's not like something worth boycotting the Rippaverse over, but it's kind of like an evolving opinion of just how much the Rippaverse has matured in terms of its ability to consistently release books, even from like last year in 2025, when the release schedule was definitely a lot slower and easier to keep up with. But I am going to leave it there. This is quite a simple episode. I hope you guys enjoy it regardless. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.